Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dan, and in this weekly analysis we're going to cover everything related to crypto, stock market, all the financial instruments that you can make money on, okay? So stay tuned, follow everything closely because there's some very interesting happenings at the moment in the markets. And without further ado, let's jump in right away. As always, we're gonna start with Nasdaq 100 technical analysis, okay? This right here is a Nasdaq weekly chart, and as I've already told you in the previous videos, we had these beautiful wicks over here, okay? Look at these beautiful wicks. So we wanted to push higher. I told you that the first stop should be at 13,600, right? It didn't happen yet, but we broke out of this range that we had, and this looks very bullish to me. To be honest, the price action on the weekly chart looks really nice. We have this bullish cross where the EMA 20, exponential moving average 20, crosses the EMA 50, which is the exponential moving average 50. For those of you who don't know moving averages yet, what are you waiting for? Just explore it. Look at the Investopedia or somewhere else. Look at what does it mean. Anyways, so this is a bullish sign, okay? And we broke out of this range, and look at this. We came back to retest it. Let me just zoom in on a daily chart. We came back to retest it right over here, okay? In this supply zone. And we had this big wick back to the upside. We just came back into the range and boom, just exploded back, which still is bullish momentum. We want to keep above of this demand zone. So we want to stay above this and just continue momentum, something like this, to the upside. Now, okay, will this happen? Are we actually going to see 13,600 or 700? I'm going to tell you something. For example, look at the daily chart. We have this big bearish divergence that is still happening on the daily chart, and this big bearish divergence does not give me really that much of a confidence, okay? So to be honest, I might even expect that this was the top unless we continue with the momentum. Basically, the thing that I want to see now is a strong push to the upside. I don't want to see any more ranges, okay? For me personally, this is what I want to see in order to believe that we can keep up the bullish momentum still going, right? Because as I've told you, we have very limited time that, in my opinion, now is closed for the bullish window. And that bullish window was the earnings report, which are now gone. Almost all the big companies, most of the big companies already reported. And the earnings reports were very good. I mean, were better than expected. We were actually expecting earnings recession, which didn't happen. So that was number one. The number two thing was the CPI, PPI reports, and also Fed interest rate decision. Fed CPI was lower, which is good. Fed made the decision to increase another 25 BPS points rate hike, which was bad. But also they said that they will pause most likely in the next meetings or so. So that's a good thing. So what the market now is processing and reacting is saying, okay, we had these good news like earnings report, CPI was better, and all these reports were good. Like the inflation reports were good, but the Fed also said they will pause the rate hikes. So the market is now fueling on this, okay? This is the fuel that we're using right now, fuel of these good news. But I believe that after this, because now all the news are gone, we might keep the momentum up to the upside just a little bit more and have this maybe final push to the upside to reach somewhere 13,600 or 700. And to be honest, after that, I really do believe that we are expecting a pullback. And I would really love to see some healthy correction to go back something in this range of 12,500 maybe or so. Maybe even more, I don't know, we're gonna follow on that, but I would really want to see a little bit of a bigger correction in order to fuel up that next big move somewhere at the end of the year, or let's say starting in September, October. But we're gonna talk about it when the time comes. So bearish divergence on a daily chart doesn't look really good. We might have a pullback. So the bullish target, as I already told you, of course, is 13,600 plus. And the bearish target, the first stop that we're going to stop if we go down, is 13,200. if this bearish divergence plays out correctly. Now, of course, if we actually break this and go back to this 13k range, I do believe that we should bounce back from here if we're going to keep up the bullish momentum. But please note that if we go to 13k, my personal opinion is that the bigger correction will follow. We might go up to retest this area one more time, but just to go something like down here to 12,600, then retest again 13k, and then go all the way down to, let's say, 12,000 or so. This is just my personal opinion. If I see us going down to 13k on Nasdaq, I would assume that the bigger correction will follow. Now, I'm going to move on to Bitcoin right away. So Bitcoin does not look great either. We had this accumulation area over here, which was supposed to bring us higher to the upside. That did not happen, unfortunately, and we had this bigger pullback. Now, look at this scenario over here that played out, where we had this one of the banks collapse, and then boom, we just exploded to the upside. This might be the case again. We might do a move something like this because we are currently sitting at a support area from the EMAs, and just below that there's a previous resistance which should now act as a support at around 25k. So my opinion is that we either reach the bottom and now we're going to do the same move that we did right over here, which is going to be something like this, okay, and finally reach the 32k. Or if we, of course, don't have the momentum, we're just going to be slowly, painfully going gradually down. It's going to be very slow and gradual decline, and we should come back into the range somewhere maybe at around 21-2k. Maximum I believe that we will reach if we're going bearish is somewhere around 20k. This is my maximum bearish pain prediction, okay? I don't see this nonsense that the people, crypto Twitter is talking about 10k or whatever. I don't see that happening. So from the technical point of view, we're sitting at an area of support right over here. As you can see, we have the two EMAs, 50 and 20, and also we have the previous resistance, which should now turn into support at around 25k 200. So I do believe that if we are going to keep up the bullish momentum, we need to see some big ringed candle like this, all right, to all the way to 32k. If we just go back into range, then I don't know, we're gonna need some really good news in order to break above. But otherwise, if we break into range and don't have any news, we're just gonna go back and yeah, create something lower. Now let's just zoom in on a 1 day chart. I want to show you something interesting. So this right over here also looks like head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders pattern is a pattern that should play out something like this. So the target for this should be somewhere at around 22k or maybe even lower, maybe even 21k, something like this, okay? So if you look at it from a daily chart, this looks very bearish. I mean, looks perfect setup for a head and shoulders pattern. However, here the situation was kind of similar. It wasn't that really the same, but it was kind of similar, and it played out in a bullish way. So these patterns don't always play out perfectly, but if it really does play out, we're going to head somewhere at around 20 to 22k area. Now we're gonna move on to some news, and as always, we're going to start with a economic calendar. Nothing major happening on Monday, just the FOMC members speaking. You should always pay attention to that. On Tuesday, we do have core retail sales, a couple of more different reports. Again, Fed testimony, FOMC member speaks. Then on Wednesday, building permits, we're not interested in that. Crude oil, we're not interested in that. Of course, Thursday, as always, initial jobless claims together with the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. Existing home sales, not really interested. And then we have on Friday, for the end of the week, we have Fed Chair Powell speaks. That will bring the volatility to wrap up this week. But as I already told you, major reports are already gone. So nothing too crazy or something that's gonna move the market so hard and shake it, right? Only maybe Fed Powell, if he says something, gives some hints for further pause, but we're gonna see that. Now, earnings calendar as well, nothing. All the major companies already reported their earnings report. There is some, as you can see, some of the bigger companies, retail sale companies like Walmart, Home Depot, whatever, but we're not interested in those. So earnings calendar for Nasdaq specifically is already been priced in. All the big companies reported their reports, which was good. Now, some news. New Twitter CEO says she's excited to help to transform Twitter. New appointed CEO Linda Yaccarino said in a tweet on Saturday that she has been inspired by owner Elon Musk's vision to create a brighter future and is excited to help to transform the social media platform. By the way, Linda Yaccarino, if you don't know, it's this lady over here. She's a media executive. She got a lot of hate from the Twitter immediately when Elon announced the news. Why? It's just because of this one thing I'm gonna show you right over here. It is because she also chaired the Future of Work Task Force for the World Economic Forum, okay? And Elon Musk noted his skepticism about World Economic Forum and Yaccarino's links to the organization, which he had previously criticized for increasingly becoming an unelected world's government, okay? But then Musk reassured his fans that he did not see Yaccarino's links to WEF as an impediment to his commitment to free speech, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the fans are kind of disappointed because she's tied to World Economic Forum, and World Economic Forum, we all know, a lot of people are saying that's the shadow government, you know, people who are secretly ruling the world, which probably is true, you know. Those old bastards who live 100 years, they all gather there and you know, conspire their ideas and share their whatever sick thoughts they have on how to create a new world order. Anyway, we don't care. We want to make money. We want to improve ourselves. We don't care about shadow governments. We don't care about any of this bullshit. Don't listen to these stories, okay? Work on yourself and on improving yourself every single day. Now, let's move on to more news. Yellen hopeful of a solution to more difficult debt ceiling showdown. Now, guys, we're going back to the debt ceiling. Is the US going to not increase the debt ceiling? Are they going to default on their loan? Blah, 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 blah. Again, this draws some fears into the market. That's why the market pulled back a little bit at the end of the week. And just to add on that, Biden says US debt ceiling talks are moving along. What they are doing right now is they're creating this big drama where, oh, well, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. This is very, very stressful situation. They're creating uncertainty, okay? People don't like uncertainty, especially the markets. They hate uncertainty, okay? And what they want to do, they already have a solution. What's the solution? To increase the debt ceiling. I mean, that's going to happen 100%. Okay, 99% is going to happen. But the thing is, they're creating all this drama. Why? So in the end, when they come and give you the news, it looks like they did something so great and so good, and they're the good guys, you know? So when Biden comes and says that we finally managed to increase, to fight for the increase of the debt ceiling, you know, it's going to make such a pomp and you know, dramatic moment for him and momentum, you know. I mean, I don't think this guy can actually make any momentum to gain some traction or popularity. He's so unpopular that it's beyond comprehension at this point. But anyways, he wants to gain some, we call it brownie points, right? He wants to be a good guy when they finally announce it that they're going to increase the debt ceiling, right? So this is what it's all about, just to make some fear in the markets and then come into the rescue as good guys. As simple as that. Let's move on to crypto news. Binance calls it quits in Canada, blames new rules. Now guys, as you know already, a lot of the companies are moving out of the US and Canada because they're just not crypto friendly, and this is going to have a big impact if they don't start changing their policies and if they don't start changing their politics. And that maybe may come with the new elections and maybe with the new president of the United States, whoever gets elected. So let's see, because at the moment it's just a disaster. Now, to add on to this, UAE infrastructure for crypto is more business friendly than the US, says execs. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse also expressed their sentiment over US regulation at the Dubai FinTech Summit. Basically, you see more and more of these big crypto exchanges opening headquarters in UAE, because UAE is one of the, I think it's the number one crypto-friendly country in the world. It has clear regulation for crypto, clear laws, and it's very broadly openly accepted here, and everybody is just, you know, very open to it and welcome. So that's why all these big companies are opening their headquarters in Dubai, which is going to be taking the opportunity of those big companies investing in Dubai and just expanding as a global hub and just firming their place as a global hub for innovation, fintech, cryptocurrencies, etc. So US and other countries could learn a thing or two from Dubai, and they could actually embrace it with a positive attitude instead of just bashing it and trying to sue everyone like the SEC and Gary Gensler do. Anyways guys, that will be it to wrap it up for today. So what I would expect for the market to happen in next week is just to go sideways. Maybe we're gonna have some news on Friday when Powell says, you know, give us some hint maybe about pausing, but that's about it. We're just going to either have the momentum to break the and create new highs right away, or it's just going to be choppy range then which is going to result in eventually us cracking to the downside. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.